right, ladies and gentlemen, what I would like you to get is your red notebook and a writing utensil. Go ahead and pause while you go get those and draw this. All right, so as we talked about yesterday, we have a hole bracketed off, so make sure that's the first thing you notice. So once you find the hole, you're going to want to look and see what the unit fraction would be. So what am I dealing with? Well, I'm dealing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm dealing with eighths. If you haven't drawn those yet, you need to get them drawn now. So I'm dealing with eighths. Pause if you need to. One of these units would be 1/8, but I'm actually going to shade in more than one. I'm going to shade in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Please go ahead and do the same. We're going to write it out as a sum of unit fractions, and then we're going to actually learn how to write a different way. So it's almost as though I have a bracket for every single one of these. So let's go ahead and represent them. Here's this one, 1/8 plus. Here's this one, 1/8 plus. Here's this one, 1/8 plus. And we're going to do that for all of them. 1/8 plus, 1/8 plus, 1/8. Oh, can I go any further? No, because I don't have these shaded in. So what does this equal in the end? Well, how many eighths are shaded in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I have 6 eighths. That is one way to represent it. Now let me show you another. You could use parentheses to bracket another section. So I could bracket this and this, and then this and this if I wanted. And that would look like this. If I were to put all these together, that's 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Plus 2/8. 1, 2. Plus 1/8. I've gotten them all done. If you need to check off the chunks, you can, so you know you've done them all. And then you add them up. 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 1 is 6. Any way you look at it, it's still 6/8. I could have done 2/8 plus 2/8 plus 2/8. That would have still been the same thing. All right. If I were to do a number bond for this one, it would look like this, 6/8 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little legs coming off of it. And they all would have had 1/8. Which can be kind of a pain after a while. Pause if you need to in order to make that happen. Or my number bond could have been like this, but only with 1, 2, 3 legs coming off of it. And that should be an 8. But my first one would be 3/8, my second one would be 2/8, and my third one would be 1/8. Sorry about that. 3/8, 2/8, 1/8. But doesn't matter as long as they all add up to the same thing, 6/8. All right, I'm going to erase. If you need more time, pause so you can get it. All right, let's do another one. This time, let's do an improper fraction. So let's imagine that I have 7/4. Well, I ask myself, what am I dealing with? Well, I'm dealing with fourths. So I'm going to draw a tape model, and I'm going to cut it into fourths. Stay with me. Cut it in half, and then half again. That gives me fourths. Oh. But does that give me 7/4? No, that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4/4, because that's a whole. Let's go ahead and bracket our whole. 4/4. So let's at least shade that in. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I need 7. So I could just draw a few more boxes, but we're not going to. We're going to draw another hole. So let's draw another hole next to this one. Let's bracket it. That's the most important thing, is knowing what your hole is. cut it in half. It's almost as though this one doesn't exist anymore. Cut it in half again and half again. Fourths and fourths, because they're two wholes. I want 7 shaded in, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, we can use unit fractions to work through this, which is what we're going to start with, and then we'll do it a different way. So this 1 unit fraction equals an 1/8. Oh, I hope you're saying no, Mrs. Barnes. It equals a 4th, because this is my whole, and there are only 4 pieces. Plus 1/4, plus 1/4, plus 1/4. But I'm not quite done. I have to continue on with my other whole. Plus 1/4. You should have all the same answers, all the same unit fractions. I had 7 boxes filled in here. I should have 7 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if I add them all together, they equal 7/4. Now, another way to show this is to bracket them. I'm going to bracket mine one way. You can bracket yours another. Why don't you go ahead and pause while you bracket yours? All right, let's see if Mrs. Barnes got the same thing you did. I'm going to bracket in small chunks this time. So now I could have written it like this. 2/4 plus, 2/4 plus, 2/4 plus 1/4, which equals 2, 4, 6, 7/4. You'll notice I'm not adding up my denominator because these are fourths. If I added up my denominator, the number on the bottom, I would have 4, 8, 12, 16ths. Is that broken into 16ths? I don't think so. So my denominator does not change when I'm adding. Denominator. This is just one way. You might have done 3/4, 2/4, 2/4. You might have done 4/4 plus 3/4. There's a variety of ways to do it. So what your problem set's going to ask you to do today is it's going to ask you to draw models. It's going to ask you to decompose your model into unit fractions. And then it's going to ask you to come up with one more way. And you have a few problems to do. Good luck, find a partner, and follow the directions on the board.